Hello and welcome to Open Line. I'm Starlene Stringer. Well, some young people in Irving are about to get help with a critical need, housing. The La Buena Vida house will open soon, and today we're going to learn more about it. Let me introduce our special guest. We have Chris Allen, the founder of the La Buena Vida Youth Leadership Foundation and board chairman. We also have Dr. Lori Davis, the volunteer case manager and member of Advocates for Homeless Teens. And we have Joy Kudrum, the executive director of the La Buena Vida Youth Foundation, that'd be the Youth Leadership Foundation, and I want to thank them all for being here today as our special guest. Thanks for being here, y'all.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to get right into it. We got a lot to talk about. Chris, first, can you tell us about the need for this house?
Well, La Buena Vida Youth Leadership Foundation was founded in 2010, and shortly after that, we were introduced to a group called the Advocates for Homeless Teens, and they very quickly and passionately educated us on a problem in the public school system, and that was homelessness and young people trying to finish their education, yet doing it under terrible circumstances, oftentimes jumping from home to home and couch to couch every night to find a place to stay for various reasons. Anyway, through that education, we decided to adapt our mission and work with the city and the school district to try to address this problem. And it's been 5 years, but it's finally coming to fruition, and we're very excited about it. And most importantly, we're excited that this is net zero cost to the citizens, taxpayers of Irving. Wow. It's done through the federal government and nonprofit, so the city is getting a wonderful asset on a street that has a long history of problems and trouble, and now it's just the whole neighborhood is just a real testament to urban redevelopment, and we're so proud to be a part of it.
That's awesome. Lori, can you tell us a little bit more about the need for the house?
Well, usually in Irving Independent School District, at the beginning of 2014 and 15, this school year, there was 450 homeless students identified at the beginning of the school year. That would be August. And throughout the year, the number increases, and it ends around 1,000 kids. And out of those kids, probably a quarter of them are in high school. And we're focusing on children that are called unaccompanied youth.
Okay.
And these are kids that don't have any parents or any parental support. And they're trying to finish their high school education. And at La Buena Vida, we recognize that it's a critical time to catch people and to get them over that graduation hump. And if they're that dedicated to go to school, we want to help them meet that goal. And the statistics and the research supports that goal and mission.
Wonderful. And now that we've learned a little bit about the need, Chris, can you tell us how that's led to the construction that's underway today?
Yes, probably 4 years ago, we went and visited the City House in Plano, and through that process we decided to engage a person to write a policy and procedures and an entire manual. It's got to be about this thick. And with that we got with the city, and this process involves the city, of course the federal government, the HUD department, La Buena Vida, and the Chodo Bear Creek development, community development group. Probably didn't get that right, but anyway.
We get it, yeah.
Yeah. So
BCDC.
So through that whole process and that collaboration, we found a piece of property. First of all, we tried to do this at several of the neighborhoods, and there was land available, and it just wasn't a good fit for the neighborhood. We thought it was, but after getting public input and going through the process, we kind of felt like this is going to be a long-term battle, and we're going to be perceived as a problem and not a solution. So one day we were driving around looking, and we went down Tudor Lane, and we found a lot there. We tracked down the owner. Dr. Davis worked with him, and it was a blessing. Things happen in mysterious ways, but we went from being perceived as a problem to being perceived as a solution to a whole nother problem within a different neighborhood, and that's how the process happened.
I see. And let's get to the really good stuff. So Joy, tell me about some of the features of the house.
Well, we are so excited about having the groundbreaking that happened back in January. We had about 80 people from the community come out and support. We had people from the city, people from the schools, different corporations, and great community leaders that came out. The house is going to be set to go hopefully here mid-July, and it's going to have 8 bedrooms. It's going to have living quarters for a case manager to be there to watch over the students that are going to be living there. We're going to have 3 kitchens, 3 living areas. We're going to have a big open area on the second floor of the house that's going to have a place for the kids to come together to have additional education. We're looking at doing financial education for the students, leadership skills, teaching them about different types of ethics programs, and helping them learn about business opportunities and work skills that might be available for them.
Wonderful. It sounds really nice. Now, you mentioned there's 8 rooms. Are there more than one bed in the room? Will they have more than, I mean, how many kids can stay at the house? And then what are the ages of the children there?
We're going to have the opportunity to have up to look at having 12 to 16 total students that can be in there. So 2 to 3 beds per room depending on the need. And the students that will be living there will be ages 17 to 21, and they must be attending high school. It's not going to be for dropouts or people that are just hanging out on the streets with their buddies. It's going to be for kids that have been in awful situations that are looking for an opportunity to have a whole new, better life.
Wonderful. So Lori, what is the main goal? What do you hope to achieve?
Reduce the dropout rate, produce a lot of leaders. The policies and procedures that Chris referred to are research-driven policies and procedures that produce successful kids. And La Buena Vida, through the 5 years that it's been operating, has seen great success with students that we have managed outside of having a facility, and they've been very successful. One of our oldest graduates just got a scholarship to the University of Dallas, $56,000 a year.
Wow.
Thank you, UD.
Yeah.
And this was a kid that didn't have any parents and wasn't going to graduate from high school.
Wow.
And so we've guided him through the process, and we transitioned him. And if kids are given support and they're good kids and they don't have criminal histories or drug problems or anything like that, they can't have any of those to be in this program. And they want to succeed, and we give them the adequate support, they just soar. They're very successful. It's easy.
It's a good thing. Well, that's a huge, huge scholarship. That's wonderful. Yeah. And speaking of big money like that, I know you raised a lot of funds, Chris, to make this possible. How did you go about doing so?
Well, really this particular project is possible because of the hard work of the city staff in the Human Services and Housing Department. Housing and Human Services Department. But we have raised a lot of money through individual donations, through corporate donations, and with the addition of one of Irving's own, Joy Goodrum, and I cannot emphasize enough at how hiring an executive director and it being specifically Joy and her passion for Irving has helped us, but we've been receiving grants, and we've really come a long way. If I could elaborate very quickly on what Dr. Davis said, you know, this program is a program for good kids in bad situations. There are a lot of organizations out there that are rehabbing people, young people with drug or alcohol problems. That's not our mission. Now, we will help those kids get hooked up through family advocacy with the proper organizations. But our mission is to identify through the school district those young people that are really, really good people, and they are trying to complete their education and get on with their lives and achieve greater things than they saw their guardians or parents achieve, and need a helping hand. To coin a phrase from Irving Cares, you know, a hand up, not a handout.
Right.
And they cannot have drug history. They have to take drug tests. They have to have a job. They have to have a savings account. They cannot have criminal history. So when we say 12 to 16 boys per school year, some people may try to criticize that. But if you have a stringent policy and if you follow your guidelines, these young people have to sign a contract. And we're not doing this for the first time. We ran a pilot program for 18 months. And a lot of these kids, they try to put on a happy face and they try to adapt short term to your policies and procedures. But when it comes time to sign that contract, they decide they want to go someplace else because those, they have to learn how to be self-sufficient and cook for themselves, and they have to clean up and hold inspections to be sure that the hygiene of the property is correct. So it's not Camp Hollywood.
But neither is life. And
That's
you
right.
all
And
preparing them for real world.
ultimately, what we're trying to do is produce young people that are ready to go out into the world and be self-sufficient and be contributors to society.
It's a good thing. So you mentioned a bit about Housing and Human Services. How exactly is the City of Irving involved?
Well, they become the administrators really for the HUD dollars. Okay. Once this property is turned over to us to run the program, then they become the administrators that make sure that we're filling out all the proper documents and we're doing all of our reporting. And in the event that not that this would happen, but in the event that the program was not successful, this property, including the land that we donated, would go back to the city and be repurposed, and have to be repurposed through the HUD guidelines. So that's what their role is. And
then the school district's role. You mentioned a bit about that too. You kind of touched on how they refer different students to you. How else are they involved, the school district?
They've been very helpful over the years, but I'm probably not the best person to answer that question.
That's
so
okay.
If I may, I'd defer to Dr. Davis.
Sure.
Because she's very, very, very intimately involved with the school district.
Wonderful.
The school district has been wonderfully supportive of everything that La Buena Vida does, and the referrals come from the counselor's office to my phone.
Oh, wow.
And so I meet the students at the school, at the counselor's office, at any high school in the district, and the school district has signed an agreement to provide support for La Buena Vida. So any forms of educational modification that students need, they get that through La Buena Vida and through the school district. So if they need tutors, they get tutors. They need different things. La Buena Vida takes care of everything, and with the school district together, we get great things done. We clothe them. We have great partners in the city too. The Baylor Hospital, Baylor Scott White Hospital, provides free health care for the students. The Family Advocacy Center provides free counseling for the students. The Main Place provides free clothing for the students. So they have everything that they need, and when the whole community pulls together, we win.
Yeah, they say it takes a village, and it sounds like y'all have
village.
a great one.
It's a village.
Very cool. Lori, I want to ask you the same question that I asked Joy a minute ago, and that is, what is the main thing you actually hope this house will accomplish?
For me?
Yes.
I love the idea of taking these kids that have been in situations where people they've thought that there's no hope for them. There's no hope. Their future is involved in washing cars and maybe working at a fast food place. Other than that, nothing else. And to take them and to help them learn and help them grow and to give them confidence and help give them a sense of reason for why they can be successful, and to show them that they can do it, and to give them that support and to give them that leadership training, those skills, the ethics, the financial education, and then to see what's going to happen once they graduate from the program and become a successful person in business or a successful person in the community. Then guess what's going to happen? Those next group of kids that are in the house and scared and not sure what's going to happen with their lives. Those people that have graduated from the program that are now a success are going to come back and tell those kids, you know what, you're going to be okay. And it's going to grow and it's going to grow, and we're going to have more and more great leaders in this community and people giving back in the community and all working together to make it a big success.
And where exactly is it located?
It's at 200 Alpine Court.
200 Alpine Court.
Which is right off Tudor Lane, back behind Lamar Middle School.
Okay. And how's it coming along so far, would you say?
It's going fantastic. It's so beautiful. I love it. It's like I drive by it all the time just to stop and talk with the guys from Key Life Homes. They're the ones that are building it. To go and visit and to take pictures of everything, and we've been so fortunate because with every house, when you're looking at doing things, has a budget. Well, this one had a budget that could only provide for carpet. Well, we reached out to Inner Ceramic here in Dallas, and they got on board with the project. They were supportive of what we're looking at doing. They donated all the tile to cover the house.
Wonderful.
And that is such a huge blessing, because that was going to be if you're looking at replacing carpet for 12 to 16 kids running in and out muddy and who knows what, it's just a fantastic, exciting thing. And so what we're looking at is these corporate partners that are wanting to help make this house even more than what it is right now. So we're looking at, TXU is looking at supporting us by creating all the landscaping for the house.
Wonderful.
We've got, right now I'm in talks with some irrigation services that are providing a sprinkler system for the house. Looking at another one that's providing an alarm system for the house.
Wonderful.
So it's so fantastic to see that we have these corporate partners that are so supportive of what is already happening with the house that they're wanting it to be even better.
Wonderful. And so, Chris, this is actually for boys. Why are they the focus?
Well, that's a great question. It's been a controversial subject, and they're not the only focus. We are already. Hopefully this house will be ready for us to take possession by the end of July. Matter of fact, I talked to Mr. Penn, who has just been wonderful, Terry Penn, and he says that will happen. And as soon as the school year starts and the kids are placed, then we are already prepared and have been trying to identify the property to start the home for young ladies. Why young men? Well, we couldn't house both genders together. The experts say that's not a good thing.
Not a good thing. Especially that age.
Not a good idea.
So, honestly, it could have been a coin flip. And when we went through the process and we heard some of the criticism along the way, we said, hey, look, if you want us to do girls first, we'll do girls first. It doesn't really matter to us. We have to start somewhere, and our plans are not to focus solely on any one gender. It's to get started, and then immediately begin on the next home. And so that's what we plan on doing.
Wonderful. And we talked about it a bit before. I want to go back, though, and address this. What is the eligibility requirement, or what are the eligibility requirements? There's probably a list for those who want to stay there.
They have to be enrolled in high school. They have to actively attend. This is right out of the policies and the procedures manual. They have to actively attend and be involved in high school. Their attendance is checked. They have to pass all their classes. That doesn't mean a 70. That means a 76. 76 is a C. A 70 is a D. If you're a leader, you don't make Ds. You make Cs or above. Okay, so you have to be drug-free. You have to be have no criminal history. You have to be employed. We get them jobs. We get them, employed. They have to have a bank account. We set up bank accounts for them. Their wages are garnished and it's put in the bank account, and they can't get the money out until they graduate from high school. And they've tried. They've tried, but it's their money, and we don't keep their money, and we give them back their money when they graduate.
We're trying to give them a little
structure,
a little amount of money once they exit our program to help them along their way. That's the purpose of that. So
there's so many criteria that they have to meet and match, and the kids that want help and they're good kids, they rise to those challenges. And that's a large expectation list of kids. Lots of kids that live with their biological parents don't meet all of those criteria. So
Very
that's
true.
a good thing.
Very true. And now we have a question that came in on Facebook. I want to make sure I have her name right. It's Rachel Ellis Landa, and she wants to know, how do I get a job there?
Whoa. Well, right now what we're doing is we are looking for a man to come and serve and work as the caseworker, social worker there at the house.
Okay.
As we grow, we're going to look at needing to fill more positions. The first thing that we're looking for right now is to find a great leader that's going to be a social worker, case manager that's going to live there at the house to make sure those guys are getting their homework done, to make sure that they're making curfew, to make sure that they have a male role model there in the house helping lead them. But as we said, there's going to be a girls' house coming along too. And so as we grow, we're definitely going to be looking for more positions, and I will be posting on Facebook when we are.
Wonderful. Thank you.
We have other programs.
Okay.
And so anyone that would like to get involved in the foundation by volunteering or various ways just needs to go to our website, Buena Vida Youth Leadership Foundation.org.
Okay.
And they'll get put in touch with Joy, and we have plenty of opportunities for people in the community to get involved.
Wonderful. And Chris, we talked a bit about how the city of Irving is involved. Can you tell us a little bit more about the funding?
Yes. Well, as I said, the funding was approximately $450,000,
Okay.
and it was all federal grant dollars through the housing program. And Irving really did not even get involved in the HUD program until the late 1990s, glad they did get involved because they were missing out on their own money coming back to their community. So we applied and we were accepted, and that money trickles down to the city. The city then pays the CHODO to oversee the construction, and then once the construction is complete, then our agreement will take effect and we'll take over the operation and maintenance of it.
Okay. And Lori, just to make it clear, how big of a problem is homelessness here in Irving?
It's not just in Irving, it's everywhere in the United States of America. And it's growing. It's a growing problem. I don't know at what point our children became disposable, but that's kind of the attitude. And if we don't arrest this problem or do some intervention to stop this problem, the research says that if children don't graduate from high school, they have a high chance of being incarcerated. They have a higher chance of being on welfare, food stamps, becoming more of a social burden to society than a benefit. They're not taxpayers, they're not employed to capacity. So getting them over that high school hump is a huge, huge difference. And this program will stop some of that and make it better for kids' lives.
Wonderful. And when will the house actually open, Joy?
We're expecting it to be open mid-August in time to start off the new school year. So
Wonderful.
that seems like a great time to open it up and get things going.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And Chris, when it comes to homelessness, there's a lot of misconception. Can you clear some of that up?
Well, I don't know whether I can or not.
You can try.
Yeah, I'll try. I mean, there are, just as in society in general, there is a whole scale of different types of people
Sure.
in society, good people, bad people, hardworking people, lazy people, and you have the same thing in homelessness. Now, one thing that you have in homelessness, I think that as a whole, not in our program and not specific to youth, but I think you have a much, I know that you have a much greater concentration of mental health issues that need to be addressed. You know, I think that to see some of the things that are happening in our country and in our society, where we are becoming more caring and accepting of controversial things, and then to see that we turn this blind eye on homelessness that affects all of us, you know, what does it say about a country that puts more focus on sheltering dogs and cats than puts on sheltering human beings? So, you know, I think we really need to focus on this. I think we cannot lump everybody into one group in the homelessness group. I think there are some areas that are just raw deals, and it puts people on the street. And what we're trying to address are those young people that are affected by the bad decisions of their caregivers. You know, it was a couple of years ago, working through Lori and Sharon Johnson at the main place. They get a phone call in the middle of the night about a woman who has a 15-year-old with a baby on her hip and 2 other kids in tow, and they found her, and her home had been raided as a drug home, and her parents were carted off, rightfully so. And because this is not the first time this happened, she grabbed her siblings and ran. And the reason she did that is because the last time it happened, they were scattered into the Child Protective Service, and she did not want that to happen. Now, you know, that's really a bad, that's a raw deal for those kids. You know, some people have said, why are you focusing on boys? And I hope I answered that. And some people have said, why are you focusing on 17 to 21? Well, 2 reasons. One is, under the age of 17, those kids fall under Child Protective Services, and there are avenues for that. And we technically, in keeping with our guidelines of they must be in school, could have gone as high as 24, 25 years old, because under the Texas Education Code, kids are able to be in school, in high school, up to those ages, 24, 25. I think if you're enrolled prior to being 26, you can actually graduate at the age of 26. But because, you know, there was some questions about it, and we do have to narrow our focus, we said, hey, we're going to focus on this group right here and try to get them out and get them out of off the burden of from burdening the school district.
Wonderful. And I know we're just about out of time, Joey, but I want to make sure people know that you guys are working with other programs too. I know the La Buena Vista House works with Ethics Summit, and they have the Future Leaders of Irving.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, well, we have the Ethics Summit that takes place in the spring.
Okay.
And what we do is we have the founder of the School of Ethics from the University of Arizona that comes in, spends a full day with our Irving Independent School District's junior and seniors, teaching a full course on ethics and business ethics. And it's very exciting. We're looking at expanding it out to 3 days for this upcoming spring. And then it's just because it's gotten such a great response, we figured, well, we're just going to go ahead and expand it out and be able to have more of our students involved. Also, with the Future Leaders of Irving program, that's a program that we do in conjunction with the U.S.-Mexico Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Irving Las Colinas Chamber of Commerce, Irving ISD, and the YMCA, and the City of Irving. And we all work together to get a group of kids, 40 students, they have to apply for it, that are seniors in high school, that go through a program where they learn about our local government, giving back to the community, education in the community, business in the community. And it's a monthly program, and they graduate at the end of the year, and the Four Seasons is kind enough to offer space for us to have our graduation there each spring. So it's a great program. And then our other program that we have is the Irving Achievers program. We have it with the Secondary Reassignment School of Irving. So what we do is those students are at-risk students here in Irving that might not have an idea about what they're going to be doing with their future. So we apply, we have a monthly program where each month a new group of students goes through a program where they learn about different educational opportunities, different on-the-job training opportunities, what it's like to write a resume, what it's like to give back and be involved more in the community. So
Wonderful.
Great programs.
Sounds like a lot of great things going on
A lot
right
of great
now.
things.
Thank y'all so much for telling us about La Buena Vista House. We love hearing about La Buena Vida House. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for watching. I'm Starlene Stringer. Please be sure to join us on Thursday, August 13th at 1:30 p.m. for our next edition of Open Line. Our topic will be after-school programs for students. Email questions to ictn@cityofirving.org and we'll get them answered on our next show. We'll see you then.